LinkedIn is pretty amazing at helping you grow your small business. We cannot stop your new clients from emailing you at 3 a.m. We can help you sell, market, and hire in one place. We cannot help you be in 3 places at once. And while we can't help you organize your calendar, LinkedIn can help you land more clients so you have a calendar to organize. Grow your small business on LinkedIn. Learn more at linkedin.com/smallbusiness.
This episode is brought to you by Tidy Cats, here to level up your litter game with their new Performance Plus lineup. Your home is your happy place, your cats, VIPs. So when it comes to the litter box, excellence isn't optional. Choose from products that specialize in max power clumping, low tracking, or odor fighting so advanced, stink won't see it coming. Tidy Cats Performance Plus. Mission mighty, keep it tidy. Shop now at tidycats.com.
Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the General Hospital recap for May 18th through 22nd, 2026. We have a few Port Charles pipelines. Oh, okay, Louise, you sent in your Mother's Day basket. Hola, my lovelies. So I sent the translation instantly as I heard what I thought was you not knowing hasta luego. Don't worry about it. Seriously. I later missed sending one commenting on last week's episode, but here's what was in my mom's basket. She loved it. Mom's Mother's Day basket was actually a watering can she can use in her garden.
I love that idea.
Flor de Magia, magic magician flower. It's Puerto Rico's national flower. The tree is endemic to Puerto Rico and happens to be her favorite. My cousin is an artist and he sketched her a bouquet of them in a teapot.
Oh.
The teapot is my thing. I collect them. I'll try to send you a photo. The second thing is a #1 Tarta Abuela charm for her bracelet to advise her that she is about to be a great-great-grandma.
Oh.
Quotes signal the translation to English. Thank you. That just made me so happy.
Oh my gosh. That's adorable.
So wait, does this mean that, Louise, you're going to be a grandma?
A great grandma.
Okay, we're getting all over the place. Yeah. Homemade churros, popular Caribbean snack, sort of like a super sugary soft breadstick. Oh yeah, I know what those are, but I bet that the real ones are so much better. And D, picture collage of her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. 18 of us in all.
Oh my goodness.
P.S. I purchased my ticket for Jonathan's show, and I'm thinking of going to Stephen Bradford in July. Go. You will have such a good time. We have loved every single time that we have gone.
Yes.
I love that basket, and just congratulations to your whole family.
Right? That's so awesome. Oh,
yes.
I would be crying for days if I got a present like that.
And then from Emily, Port Charles Pipeline from Emily and Renee. You knew it was coming. Hi, ladies. Actually heading to Michigan to see my mom right now and wanted to send you a quick email because we definitely missed a few things. First of all, thank you again for having us on. It was so fun to record, but honestly really fun getting to wait for the episode together too. Aww. I especially loved the ending conversation where Amanda mentioned being able to see my face light up whenever my mom would start talking about a storyline. I love my mom and I'm so proud of her, so it means a lot that you caught that. Smiley heart face.
Aww.
I found some of the prediction conversations we were talking about from 2022. One was when you guys said there was no way Liz would fake being pregnant with Nicholas's baby in an attempt to keep Esme away because she has grown too much, in quotes, as a character. My mom was immediately like, that is exactly what she's going to do. Same thing with Esme being Heather and Ryan's daughter. My mom was convinced way before the reveal. She also had some pretty good hook killer instincts back when the storyline lasted approximately forever.
Mm-hmm.
The funniest part of searching through our text, though, was realizing how many times are literally just, are you caught up on GH? Did you watch Tuesday? GH? ? My husband's name is Drew.
Oh my.
And there are several random texts along the lines of, I hate Drew or Drew needs to go away. And you know that we're not talking about my husband. Yeah, you're going to join my level of like the FBI Google searches and everything that you're going to need to clarify. Why couldn't she just stab Drew? She should have shot him 3 times, stuff like that. You're going to want to clarify.
Just don't start sending messages. Did you give that injection yet? Because that will be very suspicious.
Yep. Also, what my mom doesn't know yet, because I'm literally telling her this weekend, is I'm moving back to the house a mile down the road from her later this year.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be amazing.
So we'll actually get to watch together again soon instead of communicating exclusively through Are You Caught Up Yet? Guys, you are killing me today.
Why is everyone trying to make us cry?
Lastly, after listening back, I realized we totally missed a golden opportunity to talk about our favorite mother-daughter duos.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we did.
Guess we're having another conversation for sure.
Mom and I both agree that Carly and Joss are our favorite. They just feel so believable together. They have such great chemistry and look and act like they could actually be related. We also talked about Bobby and Carly obviously being iconic, and we both love Lois and Brooklyn too.
Mm-hmm.
Who would be your favorite?
Oh, man. That's so hard.
It is.
I am actually surprised to say it, but I think when we have her and she's not in a coma, it would be Lulu with Laura, because I feel like that is Laura just in general is a real character.
Yeah.
So the way that she talks to Lulu, especially this week, that felt like a real mother-daughter connection.
Yeah, this is a really tough question,
right?
Because, I'm going to go old school.
Okay.
With Lila and Tracy.
Oh, yes. That's another
because
one.
Lila loved Tracy no matter what horrible things she had done. She had such grace. And I mean, that was just Lila with everyone though. But I mean, she loved both of her kids.
Right. But she wasn't afraid to call them out when they were being stupid, which is a key component to me.
Yeah, except for Laura didn't really do that this week. And we'll get to that one. I can't tell you not to do something I did. Yes, you can. That's literally actually part of being a parent is, by the way, I did this. You tell them all the ways that you did it and that you messed up. And you say, I would like for you to choose differently. You can't say, well, can't say anything about that one because I did it too. Yes, you can.
Okay, I agree that you can't say, oh, you shouldn't do that. Like she can't tell her that she shouldn't do it just based on her experience. But she needs to look at the big picture, and Laura doesn't know everything that's going on.
Right.
And from her limited knowledge, she did whatever she needed to do to keep her kids safe, and it worked out well for her. So I understand where she's telling Lulu, if you feel like you need to leave to keep your kids safe, then that's what you need to do. In other circumstances,
it was when she said, though,
yes,
I can't tell you not to do something I did. It's like, no. That is one of the, as long as you're honest about it, there's nothing worse than when your parents are so adamant about, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And then you find out that they did all the things. And then you're like, well, you're a hypocrite. It's like, no. You have the opportunity to talk to them about all the things that you did to mess up.
Right.
And share. And this is what I learned. You're going to make your own mistakes. They all do.
Yeah.
But if you can give them a little bit, you can't protect them from everything. And, we all have to make our own mistakes to get where we are. But you also can't just be like, well, I can't.
Right. You have to, the honesty is important and the whole experience of this is where I'm coming from. So they understand, not just, don't do it because I said don't do it.
Exactly. Anyway, thank you guys again. My self-care tonight might be an hour in Port Charles, but I'm grateful to add on twice a week, Monday and Thursday to that because of you, Emily and Renee. Oh my gosh. Okay, how did they know that, I just needed all these messages today? We'll get to that later.
Right.
Everything's in general okay. All right. And then from Calla Lily, LOL, it always gives me a little thrill when I get mentioned on my favorite podcast. This week, first and foremost in my mind is how wonderful Dante was. I'm going to say I never give him any credit and think he's kind of hard-headed. And of course, why wouldn't he be? His background and the fact that he didn't know who his father was and then found out who his father was. You left out an important detail of here after he shot him, right? After Sonny shot him and then had to be married to Lulu. I came into Lulu late and I just do not like her. I have to say, aside, I do not like this actress as Babe on All My Children. But I digress because it's like I'm talking to my best friends about the show. None of my friends watched this show. I do have one friend who will listen to me and often brings up Sunny's marinara sauce. Okay, what's her thoughts on Sunny's marinara sauce? Is she a chef? Does she have a recipe in mind?
Right.
But Dante, he brought up an important point. Rocco saved Jason and Britt's life. They would be dead if so she wrote this last Saturday.
Okay.
So it was after we had already recorded. So this was based on Rocco's conversation with Dante. Nobody seemed to be letting Rocco know this important point. I don't think Britt was going to, because that also probably seemed self-serving. Well, it's fine what you did because you saved my life, and especially where everyone already doesn't like her too much.
Right.
If she said it, I'm actually kind of proud of her for not saying it now that she's bringing up this point.
Mm-hmm.
Except Dante brought it up. Not sure if Rocco heard him well enough because Dante was very tentative about how he was talking to Rocco because Rocco is so vulnerable. He really did do a great job, and I don't think that we addressed that.
Right. No, we didn't.
But I started to remember why I loved Dante a while ago, and I really want good things for him. If Elizabeth is one of those, so be it. A stable relationship between two sane characters? What a concept.
It'll never work.
Oh, and then she's followed up with my last email was talk to text, so there's a lot of mistakes, but you get my drift. I thought it was fine.
Yep.
All right. That was it from our fans. Do you have anything? I don't remember seeing anything.
Nope.
Okay. We got Hulu headlines. On Monday, Jordan presses Justine about Sunny. Emma opens up. On Tuesday, Valentine pitches a new plan, and Gio supports Emma. Wow, this felt like the longest week.
It was.
I'm just realizing that happened this week. On Wednesday, Alexis seeks help from Ava and Britt makes a big decision. On Thursday, Alexis wants answers. Ethan pays a visit to Tracy. And on Friday, Sunny and Rick compare notes and Britt shares intel. Where are we starting?
I have no idea. What jumped out at you? I really don't know. You're right. This week felt very long.
Yeah. Well, let's just go back to Monday. What was Monday? Jordan presses Justine about Sunny. Are we just making why did we make Turner stupid?
Right. I'm just going to take a nap while you rehash all the same crap that we've already said 100,000 times. I'm so tired of it. And now we have this new guy that they're throwing into it, this new hire. What the heck?
Do you know who that is?
Who is that? You're very excited.
Mean Girls? Aaron Samuels from Mean Girls.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I should have known that, but I did not know. Wow. Okay. All right.
Jonathan Bennett.
But where did he come from? We didn't hear. Dante has not been. Okay, Dante needs to learn. He needs to discuss this stuff with us because we have not heard him say anything to anyone about we're looking for new people. Oh, this person came in and interviewed or anything like that. Just all of a sudden, this guy is sitting at a desk complaining about how much special treatment he anticipates that Curtis is going to get. And I'm like, who are you? Why are you even talking about this? You have no right.
It would have made so much sense, too, when Dante was promoted as interim commissioner and Chase was demoted. It'd have been like, shoot, we just lost two of our best detectives. We really need to. And of course, Dante, the anticipation is that he will return to. However, when we found out that Anna was definitely staying in a facility, there should have been a lot of conversation about,
right.
Well, we're understaffed.
Yep. I had no idea who this guy is. He comes in. Well, he came in whenever they were having the altercation and helped figure out all that. But then he's just sitting at the precinct whining about how Curtis is going to get all this special attention. And the whole time I'm like, dude, who are you? And why do you care?
Yeah. So his name is Detective Joe Fitzpatrick. And he is who arrested Curtis because I guess a lot of the patrons at the Metro Court called the police and said that, there was a fight going on. And Curtis told Dante that Isaiah didn't help Jordan. So when he gets to the police department, he's telling Dante, he didn't pull over and help Jordan after this car accident. And that's why he punched him. And he is not answering. Dante's like, so did you throw the first punch? He's like, man, you don't understand. A month and a half ago, he didn't look in his rearview mirror and see something that happened behind him.
Right?
after he drove past. Guys, I'm not sure if anyone else has picked up on this PSA that apparently GH is telling us. You are supposed to check your rearview mirror after every single car you pass.
And
Every
when you
single
end
one.
up slamming into the car in front of you, don't be alarmed. It's fine.
It's not your fault then.
I'm sorry, I was watching behind me because GH taught me I will be in trouble for hit and run, even if I don't hit anything and I'm not aware that an accident occurred and I keep driving.
Yep.
Ugh, so
And
ridiculous.
yeah. And then Jordan goes to see Curtis to let him out. And that's where Detective Fitzpatrick is also clocking, like, well, who's that? And then Dante was actually very forthcoming and was like, so she's the former commissioner. He used to work in law enforcement. And full disclosure, my ex-mother-in-law is the mayor.
Right. And then he's like, I quit. I've been here
Yep.
for one day and I'm going to turn in my resignation.
Wouldn't you do that research though as a detective? As a
Right?
detective, first of all, wouldn't you do your own due diligence, understanding the work environment that you were hiring for? First of all, any job that you're going to, you should be doing your own due diligence of the work environment as best you can.
Right, because your name is now tied to that. You don't want to be thought of as a dirty cop or dirty detective or whatever because you're in that same department. Like,
Exactly.
come on, bro. But, Dante talked him down and was like, no, man, I want you to stay. That's not just because I told you all that doesn't mean that those are the reasons that we're going to brush this under the rug. Like, whatever happened, he needs to be held accountable. We'll figure it out. And then at the same time, you get to see Isaiah at the hospital and his hand is like shattered. I'm sorry, but what?
Question. He didn't hit him, right?
No, he didn't
fell.
hit him. He fell. What?
Okay.
I'm waiting for a lawsuit against Carly here because what is at the Metro Court that you slammed your hand against so hard that it shattered in multiple spots and not just bone but muscle, blah blah blah. I don't know. They had
It was probably
huge
how he
write-up.
fell on the concrete.
I'm sorry, but no.
Listen, I don't know. I could understand if he were older, and I hate to
Right?
say it, but like as your bone density,
Yes.
but he seems to be pretty healthy young man.
Right.
And
Exactly.
he shouldn't,
He
I mean,
shouldn't
maybe we're going to
shatter
find
like
out that
that.
Isaiah has a disease that we weren't aware of.
Maybe. I mean, I don't want him to have a disease, but I would be happy if that is what it led to because that would make sense. This does not make sense. Even if he fell into one of the chairs or something, sure, he could have broken something. I'm not saying that. But his hand is like shattered in multiple places and he's going to need all these surgeries and then you have to wait till this one heals before you can do the next one. So now he is going to get to blame Curtis for the rest of his life about how Curtis ruined his career.
Yep. And so is Portia.
Right.
So he thought that he broke about 7 bones in his hand and that it's ruined. The doctor said he had 11 fractures. And then he's like, well, I feel numbness in my middle and index finger. And then the doctor said, oh, yeah, by the way, you also have a couple severed tendons. And it's going to have that's the microsurgeries is what they were talking about is you go and like fix a little bit and then you let that fully heal and then go in. And so it's going to be like, I would imagine years of surgeries is what he has ahead of him.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm sure that there's someone somewhere that it has happened to, but no, that is not the normal recourse for if I punch you in the mouth right now and you fall, you are not going to shatter your hand in multiple places, even if you fall on concrete or whatever. That's crazy because he didn't even catch himself. He fell like sideways. If this would have been his shoulder, like he ripped something in his shoulder or broke something
like if he dislocated it and like tore his rotator cuff and all that busted out.
Right. But the way that they showed him fall, he fell straight down on his side. Like a normal person,
he didn't brace himself with his hands.
Your hand wouldn't have even hit the ground. Like you're falling sideways.
And it's not like we saw Curtis step on his hand.
Right. Right. Because Curtis wouldn't have done that. I mean, we didn't see it. Obviously, it didn't happen. But even if it could have happened, I don't think that Curtis would have done that.
It would have been mentioned by now. If he had and then he kicked me while I was down. Okay.
Right. A broken rib that if he would have got kicked or something. But no, you literally just fell to the ground from getting punched in the mouth. Something crazy with his teeth, because of the way he hit him. Sure. But his hand, I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. No.
Concussion.
Right. There's so many other things here. We're only doing this so that we can ruin his hand so that he can't be a surgeon and Curtis can get blamed forever. No.
All right, we're going to watch well, I'm going to watch real quick.
Go ahead.
Just to make sure that we're not missing where he did.
He punched him one time. He fell down like sideways-ish.
All right, he's yelling, I'm going to be a better father than you ever.
And then boom, punch you in the face.
Punch. He fell into the table and we didn't actually see him really hit the ground.
Okay.
So like he fell on the table and he did kind of fall with his hands and then he kind of slid down. So there's a possibility that maybe, but I agree. Like the first instinct is he did not.
If he hit the table and caught himself on the table, that wasn't a far enough distance down that you should have had that much pressure on your hands.
He like kind of like fell onto his hands, kind of like bracing himself onto the table. And then it looks like he slid off the table at an angle. So like the table tilted. So there's like a chance he probably actually did fall and continue to fall on his hand. We just didn't see the fall off. So we don't know if he fell on his back, did he fall on his hands? Like, I feel like that's probably a really important thing for us to have seen.
All right, I'm ready to
that
like
would have been a really good cliffhanger. I didn't even put it together to begin with that, oh, geez, he just fell on his hands and he's a surgeon.
Let's put our CIA agent hats on and recreate this or something, because I just don't think that is in any way possible. But
you mean CSI?
CSI, I don't know what I said.
Okay.
CIA? CSI. There we go. Nope.
The thing that the detective was saying, though, is like Curtis seems like he's so powerful and then he gets away with stuff.
But I don't think that he does.
Well, it was just, I guess it was the attitude that he was having. And then he kept saying to Dante, your friend.
Right.
And then the thing that annoyed me was when I thought it was interesting as an outside perspective that's the first impression that he got was, wow, these people are all friendly with people that they're arresting. Like, what's going on here? So I get that for like the red flags. But then Jordan posted bail and he like rolls his eyes like, of course he did. He was in a fight. Murderers get bail.
Right.
Sometimes.
Right.
Like, that's the purpose of bail.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you leave. If you have the money, if you get a bond, you pay it, you leave.
And they already told you that Curtis does have a lot of money and Jordan herself has a decent amount of money. So it's not like,
that's right. He mentioned that Curtis was CEO of Aurora. That's what I missed was that. And that's where he was. Yeah.
Yeah. So why are you shocked that he could post even if it was like 50,000, like, why are you shocked that he could come up with that? Like you said, there's bail bonds and stuff. Like, come on.
And it's only 10%, right? Like if bail set at 50,000, it's only supposed to be 10%.
Right.
So
yeah,
I could post that.
Right.
Like the 50. I mean, it would not be fun for me, but I could figure it out.
Right. It wouldn't be as easy as it was for them, but you can come up with that money. It's not like it was a $10 million fine or something, or bond or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I don't understand why he was shocked. That just because you get out on your bond does not mean that you're going to never have to face the consequences of what you've done.
Right. And then Turner went to go talk to Sunny because she doesn't want to prosecute Curtis because it'll hurt her friend, and her friend is already hurting so much. Seriously?
I can't believe they're doing this to her. We talk about it all the time. We have these strong, independent women who have their stuff together, and then they get with someone, usually Sunny, and suddenly, oh, they're so whiny and they don't know how to do their jobs, and help me, please guide me, because I can't make basic decisions on my own anymore.
Like, he even mentioned that, like, as someone who has been arrested more than once in Port Charles.
Right.
And then she said something about the fact that, you know, and they must have taken into consideration that he runs this global media company, probably because but also multiple people saw him punch this guy. You think that there's not multiple videos?
Right.
And because he's former law enforcement, so therefore they must have really done their due diligence before they arrested him.
No. The whole thing was ridiculous. If this was a case like whenever Drew got shot, that there was no real evidence anywhere, like there wasn't cameras, there wasn't witnesses, there wasn't anything, and she was upset about, I don't know how I feel about questioning my friend's boyfriend, and this is going to get complicated.
Right, yeah.
That would make sense. Curtis himself has to admit, even if he doesn't want to say he was in the wrong because Isaiah totally provoked him, he and all those people are going to sit there and say, yeah, it's an open and shut case. He punched Isaiah. He started the fight, the altercation. It was his fault. Boom. Like, I just don't understand. Jordan can't be mad at you for doing your job, especially whenever there is absolutely no way to dispute that Curtis was wrong.
Right.
I don't get it.
And Turner had earlier, for the arrest, like before all that happened, right? Before she knew about it, that's when she talked to Jordan about how, girl, like Jordan is so mad about what happened. And Jordan keeps saying,
Yep.
like, and she actually said to Turner, it was my fault.
Yep. I'm the one that took my eyes off the road to kiss my man. Our fault.
Yep.
And I don't understand, and maybe this is something you need to be a car person to get, but when Curtis is yelling about how Isaiah already got his car fixed so they can't match the black paint because now it's painted over, isn't the rest of the car that same paint? Like, can't you just take a sample from somewhere else to match it?
They would probably repaint the entire car so that it matches because there might be fading on the rest of the car. Think about like if you, okay, I'm going off of, I've actually never had a car repainted. But I'm just thinking like if you repaint only part of a wall, you can tell if there's like significant section of the wall that you have to paint over.
Right.
You would be able to tell that one section was painted over. And not just like a little touch up, like, but even little touch ups, if you look at it close enough, you can tell, oh, that's different
If you
paint.
look at it close enough. But what I'm envisioning, whether you hit a guardrail or hit a wall, which we know Isaiah was the wall in this case, but either way, it's like a scuff mark on that section of the car. I don't feel like you're paying to paint the entire car then. They're
But that's the thing is like if
paying.
it was the entire side of the car, they probably would because if not, then half of his car. And if you're driving a BMW, you probably want your car to look the same the whole way around.
Oh, see, I'm just assuming that it was like the front bumper. It wasn't the whole, like they didn't scrape the whole side driving down.
I
They
thought that
hit
he
the
said that
front
he scraped
bumper.
like the whole side because he took the corner too hard.
I guess I didn't pay attention to his wording, whether it was the whole side or not. I just pictured the way that a normal person would drive in a parking garage. And if you took it too sharp, yeah, you could scrape the front of it, but then you'd correct. You wouldn't just drive your car along the side and let it keep scraping.
See, I'm picturing that he hit a pillar. I'm thinking that he hit one of those pillars that like as you're coming up the ramp and going around. I'm picturing that's what I thought that he said that he hit. So it's like he would have hit it on the passenger side and like followed it around because he wasn't paying
Okay.
attention.
Okay. Well, I need clarity on that too, because
I know.
I'm picturing just like, I don't know, a 6-inch, 8-inch
Oh God, no. See,
spot,
I was
something like
picturing
that.
the whole side was done. Because remember, that's what Tracy said about Brooklyn's car.
Yeah, but Brooklyn did hit the
Right.
thing.
But
So
so
yeah.
that's the thing though, is that the damage to the vehicles should be quote unquote the same.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
Like in the
See,
same place to make it more suspicious, I think.
right. No, I was picturing that Isaiah's wasn't as bad and that that's going to be his whole comeback. It's like, dude, I hit the side of the wall. I only damaged this much.
Well, maybe.
Because
Yeah.
Curtis doesn't know what the damage was. He just knows that Isaiah had an appointment and got his car fixed. That's pretty much
Right.
it.
Oh no,
So
Curtis made it sound like he was doing it himself.
right, right. He got a job at the mechanic shop just to find who brought their black BMW in for a paint job.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's all just so ridiculous. This whole storyline is ridiculous, and I'm over it.
I guess that could just take us into where Brooklyn starts freaking out because who was it? Ethan came in and told them, or no, Chase went in and told her that Curtis had been arrested.
Yes, yes. And then he was like talking crap on the other driver, assuming that it was Isaiah also, and was like, who just leaves the scene of a crime? If you see someone crash, you don't stop. And she stood there with that deer in headlights look that they make her do, like, oh no, I'm in trouble.
Yep. Oh, because he asked her if the studio executives were still interested in Trina
Right.
because, well, last night Curtis was arrested. I
Yeah.
mean, does he understand the music industry? A lot
Right.
of people with established careers are still people that get interest, and they have their own arrest records.
Exactly. Trina's an adult. This is her dad. And again,
Well,
not
that does
saying,
happen though too.
I feel like punching someone, if you're really interested in hiring someone for a music career,
Right.
you're gonna overlook the fact that their dad got in trouble for punching someone. It, like, if he was up on murder charges, okay, maybe.
Right.
But
And if the murder charges had anything to do with someone associated with you, oh wait, shoot, he is because that's her mom's boyfriend.
Yeah.
But still, right, exactly.
Right.
But yeah.
I don't know. I'm over the Phoebe stuff too. That baby's adorable, so I will not complain when she's on
Oh, that
screen.
look that she gave Ethan when Ethan walked in, and Brooklyn's like, "Do you want to hold her?" And Phoebe looks at him like, "Yeah, do you want to hold me?" Oh,
Don't you know you're my daddy? Um,
that was just the
yes,
sweetest.
exactly. I could look at her all day because she's adorable. But this back and forth of Ethan just randomly dropping in, like, I don't know. I know his excuse was he wanted to talk to
Once. This is the second
Tracy.
time now.
But he stared at her at the Metro Court whenever they saw her. Remember, because Christina
Yep.
went over to hold.
Yeah.
So it's been multiple interactions that he just stands there and looks at her with this weird look. And I'm waiting. Chase, weren't you a detective? Did you drop those skills the second you went down to patrolman? Are you not going to ask what's up?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I did like that we got to see Ava and Alexis working together though this week because of that.
Yes.
That was exciting because those are two we don't usually see together. The kids had broken into Wyndemere and Ava was able to call Alexis and be like, hey, you might want to come collect your grandson and Charlotte. And so then Alexis shows up and she's like, you know what? I have you here in the middle of all of this. Can I ask you some questions about what these art galleries are? And Ava's like, I mean, yeah, they're prominent art galleries. They have some nice stuff. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. And then she asks if she had ever dealt with Delilah Wilson, and she said no, she hadn't heard of her. And then she showed her the tattoo, and the tattoo was leading them somewhere because it was from some popular tattoo artist.
An artist named Kyoko.
There you go.
And I meant to look this up. Is the Hammett Gallery a real gallery? And Kyoko's a popular name, so I mean that's not really
right.
Hammer Galleries. I'm sorry, I put Hammett. I also might have written it incorrectly. Oh, it's permanently closed.
Oh no.
Fine art gallery specializing in impressionists and modern masters.
Well, there goes that.
When did it close? That's at least what. Oh yeah, like their website's not even. Aw.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah. They were established in 1928. When did they close? When did they close? Quietly closed its physical Manhattan gallery space around 2020. Well, quietly means that the GH writers did not find out about it. Interesting. Anyway, but yeah. But then even Ava said, she's like, she could just be a collector. You know,
right.
like she's at least not a well-known person. But I love that Ava was like, yeah, I'm totally helping you out because I'm putting this in the bank. So if in the future I need something,
yep,
I got you.
And Alexa's like, that's fair. I get it.
Yep.
I was excited for a minute for the kids to be at Wyndemere because when Charlotte started talking about having a key to the basement, I thought that maybe that we were actually going to get somewhere with that.
Oh yeah, that's why Ava called Alexis.
Yes, because
good for her too, because she really didn't have to. Oh, she stood up for those kids.
She did, because she knows that Colum is just ew. And so they walked in the door. Colum was there, because Colum's always there. I guess I should back up. First, the kids say that they're going. Rocco freaks out and tells Danny not to go there and Charlotte not to go because it's bad news and we know that Colum is horrible and that nothing good's going to come of it. And they're like, no, we need to go. And so if you don't want to come with us, they basically have the same fight they had last week of going or not going.
Well, they did kind of apologize to him.
They did, but they seemed like they were annoyed
didn't.
all over again. Right. It was like, I'm sorry that I got mad at you for saying that you won't come with me. So will you come with me? Okay, now I'm mad that you said you won't come with me again. What?
Right.
That's not how that works. So they went and then they overheard the conversation of Britt asking for her medication and Colum saying, well, maybe I won't give it to you because you lied to me about who shot me. Why don't you tell me the truth? And she pointed out again, I feel like the same investigator skills are not being used here. She's like, do you remember I was unconscious on the ground? So I'm not really sure who shot you because I didn't get to witness it. I was unconscious on the ground. And so he goes ahead and gives her the shot. And then they have the whole conversation about how she needs to finish the project and all that. And the kids overhear it. and then they go their separate ways and the kids go into the house. But they start talking about Charlotte knows where the key to the basement is. And I was like, yes, we're going to finally have her go down there and find the room and it's all going to be something. And instead, Colin rounds
They
the
were going to
corner.
find Joss.
Right. Colin rounds the corner and he's like, oh, I know you guys. And he's grabbing all over Danny and accusing him of, what are you guys doing here? What do you want? Or whatever. And I love that Charlotte had a totally reasonable explanation of like, yeah, I used to live here. I wanted to show my friend where I used to live. I shouldn't have done this, but sorry. And Colin was going to haul them off to the living room and do God knows what, right as Sidwell and Ava walked in. And even Sidwell was like, what are you doing with those kids? Like, unhand them. What's going on?
Yep.
And he was like, oh, I'm going to, call and press charges. And Ava was like, they're minors. You're not going to call and get anything really done. They're going to get a slap on the wrist. Like, here, we'll handle this. So she
Before
quickly.
all that, though, Colum and Sidwell were talking, and Colum said that he thought Danny was who shot him, and Sidwell had stopped him and was like, he is a teenager. He is a quartermain and associated with Sonny Corinthos. If you kill him.
Right.
And then, like, that's when, not even an hour later is when, because Britt showed up at the end of that. And then that's when, and we can get to that, but Sidwell had showed her out. That's when Danny and Charlotte busted in and decided to have the conversation that they should have had outside, inside.
Right.
And that's when they went around the corner and Colum got them. And then Sidwell came back.
Yep.
And was like, dude, we just talked about this. You're not going to kill this kid.
And Colin just stands there with that like same look. I mean, he should get an award for not having any emotion whatsoever because he just stands there with that same look like, I'm just going about my business. No one's going to get in my way. And yeah, and whenever even Sidwell is like, what are you doing? This doesn't make sense. And so then, whenever Alexis got there, I'm trying to think like who came. So Alexis came and thanked Ava and then said to Sidwell and Colum, you'll have to excuse Danny. He's been through a lot. I know that that's not really an excuse, but not only did he have to deal with everything else, but he was with me whenever, I guess Colum wasn't in the room with that because Sidwell was the one that he said, you'll have to excuse. He was with me whenever we found Marco. And later, Sidwell says to Colum, well, so you should know that he wasn't even in the room. Or he couldn't have been on the pier because he was in the room with Alexis whenever they found Marco. And I'm like, yeah, dude, so quit trying to go kill people that have nothing
except
to
for
do.
at that same time, Colum had overheard Britt and Rocco.
Another set of people who should know not to have conversations. Britt knows that Colum has followed her to the hospital how many times and keeps showing up at the hospital to see Brennan. And you think that having a conversation about this in your office is right?
Yep.
Ridiculous. Oh, I thought that Nina was going to get caught for a minute so she's talking to Willow. They're fighting over who's going to be the one to do the injections, back and forth, whatever. That whole conversation was pointless. And so finally Nina's like, I'm going to take the plan. It makes more sense for you to stay away and everyone think that I'm just concerned because I was with him. I will do the injection. It's fine. So she walks into the room and starts saying how, she just wanted to check on him. And Colin sitting in the background is like, wow, you're mighty concerned with Brennan. I didn't know that you guys were such friends. And again, I felt like her cover up did make sense too. Like I was with him when he collapsed at my house or my daughter's house. Yeah, I want to make sure he's okay. I'm not going to apologize for being a good human. Like what?
Oh, no. What exactly, what was it that she said? Hold it and this was later. This was later when she was bringing her the plant because the first time when Nina went to Willow's office and was talking about how, where is it? Because that's when Willow was saying that Drew has to stay in his condition a little bit longer because Brennan's now in his condition and that the first shot's going to be wearing off. And so that's when she told her, like, Nina, by the way, you have to go do this, not me. And they're saying about how soon people might start having suspicions. And Nina's like, yeah, I know, Carly was like, anybody.
Right.
Anyone would be like, what are the chances that two
perfectly healthy
suddenly have strokes in the same house in 3 months? But then when Nina went to inject him is when he looked at her, and so she couldn't do it.
Yes.
And then she goes back with the plant. And then that's when Willow was saying that you need to be careful because if you're not careful, you're going to take me down with you. Girl, you are why you guys are in this situation. And
Yep.
thankfully, they kept looking around and whispering.
Yes.
Nina keeps saying that it was an accident. It was not. You picked up a syringe.
Right.
The truck that you could have used as a weapon. And you
Yep.
chose that. You chose
Right.
that.
I mean, there
But
was
she wants
lots
to
of
be
things.
a moderately decent human being. And Willow admires her for that.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, whenever she keeps saying, "Oh, she didn't mean to," there was multiple things in that house that she could have picked up and smacked somebody with. It's very well decorated. You did not need to. Why was that your first instinct?
And honestly, I mean, I feel like the kid's truck would have honked him.
Yeah. Oh, it absolutely would have knocked him out. That was like a metal truck. Like that would have done some definite damage.
Yep.
I like that we're now analyzing what you should and shouldn't hit people with. But anyway, Colum, yeah, again, was asking all the questions. And Nina's like, I'm just a normal person who wants to make sure that this guy who had a stroke in front of me is okay. And can you leave now? Because I'd like my visit. So Colum left. And that's whenever we assumed he was going to Britt's office because he said he needed to visit someone else. And she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry that you're unfortunate enough to have two friends in the hospital." And he was like, "No one said they were my friends." Okay, dude, whatever. Like, why did you need to say that to anyone? But okay. And so he leaves, and then she's talking to Brennan, and she starts fumbling in her purse again and gets the syringe out. And that's whenever he looks at her, and she's pulls the old Drew stuff of, well, blink once for this, twice for, and he says that takes too long and actually speaks the words. And she's like, "Oh man, I didn't realize you would be talking already." And then I was shocked. She turned around and put the syringe in the biohazard box instead of actually using it to inject him again.
Yep.
Willow is going to freak out.
Yeah, but then Colum came to visit and had no idea that he's talking.
Right. Yeah.
So that was good.
That was good. But at least
Except for he's going to put him in turning wood so he can rot away.
Yeah. At least Brennan is smart enough to not talk with Colum. But Nina should have talked a little bit more and been like, "Okay, hey, listen, so I can inject you with this again, and you will continue to stay how you are. Or I will not inject you and you can play it however you want to play it, but you can't tell anyone that I stabbed you with it in the first place." Not that he has to stick to his word, but they had no conversation about that.
I'm guessing Brennan probably picked up on what was happening.
I'm sure that he did, but he has no reason to keep Nina's secrets.
Oh, no, not at all.
So you're trusting someone, I don't know, that you don't have any reason to trust yet.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Nina, we totally forgot. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the episode, we're going to do Nina and Willow's relationship is this week's 411.
Yes.
Oops. Sorry.
Their completely dysfunctional, crazy relationship.
Yes. Oh, and earlier in the week, Ava and Nina had caught up, and Nina was saying that she had to stay close to the hospital. And Ava's like, "Why, are the grandkids okay?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, it's Brennan." She's like, "When did you guys become friends?"
Right?
But then Ava says about how, like Sidwell's grieving, and they talk about Rick and Sunny fighting. I like that they just had like a quick rehash of everything that just happened.
Yep. And Nina continued to defend Sunny, and Ava's like, "When are you going to stop thinking that man is so wonderful? Like, you were married and divorced to him already. What is wrong with you?" And she was like, "Well, I mean, his thugs aren't that bad." And Ava's like, "No, Ethan was. He was that bad, but nothing came of it. They let me go or whatever."
Yep. Oh, and the nurse was able to move Brennan all by herself, like flip him over from the same position.
Yep.
So Nina's just like weak.
Right?
All right, what else?
Oh, I was happy that they didn't make us witness weekend getaway with Liz and Rick.
Yes.
I was so happy. Like, she just came back to work and everyone was like, "How was your weekend away?" And she was like, "Oh, it was wonderful." And then later, Rick and Sunny talked about it. And he said that she loved the present and it was totally worth it. And that was wonderful or whatever. And I was like, thank you for not making me suffer through seeing them start hooking up again and all that stuff, because I would be grossed out.
Yep.
And I guess we can get to all of the Rocco stuff. Lulu announced that she had received the passports from Ethan, and she even told...
Oh, no, we got to back that way up before whenever she even... When did she decide this was a good idea?
She was talking to him last week about it, wasn't she?
No, she asked him for the passports this week. But when did she... Hold it. We are going to find this because...
Oh, I thought she had asked him for them last week. It was this week that she gave him the pictures because she said to him, do those pictures work?
Lulu tells Ethan that they may have to leave quick and stay gone. Rocco is caught up in a complicated situation and he offered to help. He says the thing that matters is keeping them safe and asks if there's room for one more. And that's when she asked him for the fake passports. But when did she determine that taking him to go was the right thing to do?
No idea.
Exactly.
Didn't something else happen that she decided that? Oh, she decided it because of what Dante said. That was what made it urgent.
Hold it. Okay, so let's back that up. Because once again, it has nothing to actually do with her kids. It has to do with her.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm not saying that you're wrong there right now. Absolutely.
Because then Lulu starts telling Dante, she's told him that they were going to go on the run. And he's like, oh, is that because Nathan said to and whatever? And she's like, no, because it's the right thing to do. No, it's because Nathan said to. You just are too stubborn. And now you're like, oh, gee, maybe that was a good idea, but I'm going to make it sound like it was my idea.
Right.
But then he came down on her about you were handed this fairy tale of Luke and Laura saving the world and running all over the world. And, your brothers bopping all over the world, not even here raising his son. And she's like, don't compare me to Lucky. I'm not Lucky.
Right.
And so he's like, then prove it. Stay here. I will get you bodyguards 24/7. And then that's why she left. Instead of letting the father of her son, her ex-husband, also protect their son in the way that he can, she's like, nope, I'm going to go with the other way. Because
no, I'm going to disagree. I'm going to disagree with you here because that's not how he said it. He did not say, let me help protect our son and I will have bodyguards
he will
on
find
him.
officers 24/7.
No, she said, I'm going to leave. No, you're twisting the conversation. She said, I'm going to take our son and leave to protect him. And he said, you will not take my son. I will make sure of it. I will go so far as to assign officers around the clock. It was not for protection. It was to make sure that she didn't kidnap their son.
Rocco.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
He was like, you don't have to take him. Let me protect him. You're only letting Nathan protect him. Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
He offered the police because she even said it must be really serious. Because that's what she said to Ethan was, yeah, it must be bad because Dante said that he would get us.
No, like he did not offer that 24-hour protection, air quote, to protect his son.
Yes, he did.
He did it
yes,
so that he could be in control of the situation because he refused to let her take Rocco. I'm not saying that the end result was not the right thing to do.
She didn't want to take Rocco. She was so adamant about not taking him until Dante said it was not a good idea. And then she's like, oh, maybe I should then.
Okay. Again, I'm not saying that the end result is not what would have been in Rocco's best interest, that the police could have hopefully protected him. Although I don't know that they can against Paul.
That's not the only solution. He's like, you were raised to run. He's like, that's not the only solution. I can get you guys protection 24/7.
I don't think he was offering the protection. I don't think he was offering
because he's like, you're not letting, because he had the same conversation with Nathan. He's like, you're not letting me, you guys withheld this information from me. You're not letting me be his father. You're not letting me protect my kid. You guys are making all these decisions without me.
But I think
he has resources he can offer.
But his resources aren't going to hold up against Colum, first of all. And I think that that's what Lulu's saying is that this is like the level of threat as like Frank Smith was to Luke and Laura. This guy is a really bad guy. It's not just somebody kind of sort of bad in the neighborhood. So your police protection isn't going to actually protect. But he didn't offer the police protection like,
her doing absolutely nothing and just keeping Rocco there because she didn't want to go on the run would?
No, I think she needed to make a decision. I'm not saying she did it in a timely manner. When Rocco came home from being out and she had left to look for him, and they like did that whole pan of the house as you could see like all the way through to the front door, and he was yelling for them or whatever. I thought for sure Colin was going to walk up on the porch
Me too.
and hurt him. So
I
that
thought he
would have
was going to when he came home with the fabric softener by himself.
yes, yes.
She ran out of the door and just on the phone calling Ethan, I need to meet you. We need to get whatever. I need to meet you right now. And she left her door wide open.
Yes. I 100% agree. I'm not siding with Lulu here. I want to make that very clear. Not siding with Lulu. However, I 100% disagree. You're like, oh, Dante is a nice guy. He's offering this police protection. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He threatened her. No, he threatened her with that. He was
said,
like, you're not going to
be
take
a fugitive over my dead body. I will get you protection. But the protection is for Rocco, not to prevent Lulu.
No, I disagree with you.
I don't think his intention was just, you think he would have only offered that protection just to spite Lulu and not to protect Rocco?
I think that the driving force was, I'm going to show you, Lulu, you're not going to do this without my consent. You're not taking my son.
It was the first opportunity he's even had because they haven't like kept him in the loop on everything.
They haven't kept him in the loop on everything because he's the acting police commissioner, and so his hands are tied on some of it, and he still has faith in the PCPD, like it can actually do something against Colum, which it can't.
Having officers will do a lot better than not having them, which was her option.
Again, I'm not saying
she thought that she could just handle it all by herself.
I'm not saying that having officers there will not be helpful versus not having officers. I don't think they're helpful enough versus Colum. And I think that his reason for saying I'll provide officers, it wasn't I'll provide officers. It was I'll have officers here so that you can't go anywhere without me knowing where you're going.
It was to protect his son.
No, I feel like protection of his son was secondary to I'm in charge. You're not going to leave with him because I said so. I think that would have been part of what happened with it. Like that was a nice, and it'll also protect our son. But the driving force was he didn't like that Lulu was making decisions without him. And so he was putting his foot down that wasn't going to happen and that he would make sure it didn't happen by making sure that she was guarded around the clock.
I can't wait to get the emails next week that you're wrong.
Okay.
Hey, you always say that people need to tell me that I'm wrong.
That's fine. That's fine. There's somebody out there that agrees with you, though.
Then Rocco went to Britt.
After he found his passport.
Yeah.
He found his passport and took it. I didn't know why he didn't take his duffel bag, though. Like, your mom already packed you all your clothes and stuff. Why are you just taking the passport? Come on, kid.
I don't think he knew what he was doing. I don't think he knew. I think he just took it. I don't think he knew that he was really going to ask Britt to leave with her.
Oh, see, I felt like he did. I felt like he knew what he was doing. That he had thought that out. Because he was already super upset. He had a conversation with Britt earlier in the week, earlier in that day, that she was going to leave because her being there is what was making him be in danger. And so she was going to leave. And he said, yeah, but if you don't get your meds, then you're going to die. And she said, yeah, but I would rather you be safe and everyone else around be safe than me be here and be alive, because me being alive not only means that I'm, under their control, but I'm creating whatever it is that they need so that then as soon as it's made, they can threaten all these other people and they'll probably kill me anyway. So at least I'm not going to do their work. And Rocco was like, no, don't leave. And then he came back with that passport. I felt like he knew what he was definitely going to ask.
The whole thing was he went to Geo. He had gone to Geo first earlier in the week.
He did go to Geo. I feel bad.
And then
poor Gio. He just gets dropped into this family and they keep putting him in all these situations that he's like, I don't know how to handle. I feel bad for him.
But he went and got Dante. Yes. And he's like, I think Rocco says it's typical teenage stuff, but something just feels off about it. And so Dante tries calling Rocco and it goes right to his voicemail. And they couldn't find him like on the app and everything. And then, so they get in the car and Dante is listening to classical music and he has been educating himself on classical. And according to the little song identifying app, it was Tchaikovsky's Violin Concerto in D minor, Opus 35. And Gio said that it was one of his favorite pieces. And he's worried about the fact that he broke promise to Rocco. And then when Dante and Gio got there and Rocco was at home, because Britt had just dropped him off, Gio goes to apologize and he's like, I'm never trusting you again.
Right.
And then Britt was making a phone call to book a one-way trip, a one-way ticket to Berlin. That's an app. Like that's no one does that anymore, Britt. You don't
Okay.
have or maybe she does have a secret travel agent that helps her with all of her different, because she probably needs an alias. She probably needs her whatever.
Maybe, but I mean, her misuse of technology this week was just ridiculous. When they
Oh
finally
my
did
gosh.
leave, Ryan was sitting on the couch with me and he was like, "What are they doing? Why are they making her so stupid?" And I was like, I don't know. And he was like, "Seriously, no one would do that. You can just pull the SIM card." And I was like, I know, honey, it's okay. Calm down." He was very impassioned by her
Pull the SIM
stupidity with
card, you
those
throw that
phones.
in one dumpster, you break the phone in half, and you throw it in another dumpster.
Right, stepping on it with your high heel, and then even whenever she ran over it, she only ran over one of them.
And left them on the ground.
Right. Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, but not before she called Sunny and said, by the way, Sidwell killed Dalton. Thought you could use that info. Bye.
Yep. Which was perfect because he was meeting with Laura at that same time as they were discussing they need a smoking gun to get this stuff moving.
Yep.
Oh, but we found out this week that Pascal has known all this time.
Yes.
That
and that makes sense. We knew that. We knew that Pascal told Colum. Why didn't we put that together?
I was hoping, I was having a little more faith in him than I should have. I was hoping that he still didn't know that it was Colin. Like, where's your loyalty, Pascal? You said you were in love with Marco and you've worked for Sidwell for how long? And you know that this guy killed his son and you're not telling him? You're just standing there every
Lucas
day
called him out.
making
He knows that
breakfast?
Sidwell will kill him.
Yeah.
Lucas said, you know, because you know that you're guilty. If you really thought that you did nothing wrong, you would have told Sidwell, but you know that you did. So,
right. Because Pascal is back to blaming Lucas again. And Lucas is like, I feel guilty, but Marco had free will to do everything that he did. He chose to help Britt and help me to help Britt. You just like set everything up. Like, why would you even report? And that's whenever Pascal says, well, at first I thought that it was you who stole the vials. I thought that you were going to be the one that was killed. Thanks. Like, that's great. And then you'd be out of the way. And that's what he says. That's exactly what you wanted, because then I'd be out of the way and you thought that you'd get to be with Marco. And Pascal just stands there like, yep, pretty much.
Yep. Oh, and then Pascal was saying about how he feels haunted. And Lucas is like, yeah, no, that's not Marco. That's your guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, like, Lucas does feel guilty. You know, is that last week is when Sidwell told him that Marco didn't even want to interview at the Davison Miller, but he did it.
Right. And once he saw that that's where Lucas lived, then that made it a little more bearable for him to take the position. Oh, before Britt and Rocco left, Liz came in and they're like, okay, Britt says before she opens the door, which she was smart because I assumed it was Colum that was at the door. She was smart and was like, okay, Rocco, so you're going to go outside. Here's my keys. You know what car is mine. Like, I will be right out. Go straight there. Do not get distracted. Do not talk to anyone, whatever. Take your passport. And so he leaves, and then Liz walks in and is like, hey, I just wanted to talk to you. And instantly her eyes go to the table and she's like, what is this? Why do you have a passport? Which, first of all, Liz, you're rude because you shouldn't pick up people's stuff. Like, if I walked into your house and I saw
it wasn't open straight up to see Rocco's.
Right. That's what I mean. If I walked into your house and saw a passport sitting there, I would not just be like, oh, what are you doing with your passports? And start flipping through them. Like, that's rude. Don't touch the stuff on my desk. But anyway, she picked up the passport and then she saw that it was for Rocco. And she was like, why do you have a passport for Rocco? And after she had grilled Britt, like, what's going on? And Britt's like, none of your business. And you're not my boss to stop asking me questions.
Right.
But yeah, she like grabbed Liz and pushed her in the bathroom that was in there and put a chair against it to keep her locked in as they escaped. And then Dante came in and saved the day, which does make me hopeful for a relationship between them, because I would rather the two of them be together than her. Yeah. Than her with Rick or anyone else, but especially Rick.
Well, and it was so sweet when Rocco and Britt were talking too. And I don't think so. He came to the realization that she was going to leave to die a couple days before. But then
Right.
when he finally went with her, he's like, you brought me into this world. I want to be there with you when you leave. I'm like, oh,
That was very sweet. It was very
yeah.
sweet. And
I mean, she was doing so good with, I'm not your mom. I gave birth to you, all this. He's like, yeah, but you're the only person who can tell me about the first 7 months of my life, all
yeah.
these things.
And she did say to him that the second that she dies, he has to get in contact with his parents so that they can figure out what to do next. He can't
And
just
he
be
only
out there
said, when the
alone.
time is right, I will.
Yeah,
He did not agree.
he did not. You are correct.
Yep. Oh, and before that, she had gone, well, at some point, she had gone to see Danny about his little trip to Wyndemere.
Yes. Yes.
They've done a great job with casting, but when
Mhm.
he did not say a single thing and he gave that little look, I'm like, oh, you are mini Stone Cold.
And that's what she said to him was, you're just like your dad. You're infuriating.
Yep. And I thought that they had a really good talk, that he is aware that his dad does not do anything that he doesn't want to do when it
Right.
comes to things like this, And that's when Danny told her, like, we saw them give you a shot. What are they doing?
Yeah.
And tells her about Alexis showing up because Ava had called and that he knows that Jason didn't shoot Cullum. So, like, why would he be saying that? And she didn't tell him anything or even insinuate because Rocco did.
Right.
And she's like, your dad just only ever wants you to be safe. And he's like, yeah, he wants the same for you too. And so, like, they
Yeah.
really came to kind of like a good understanding around all of that.
Yeah, he had a good talk with her and he had a good talk with Alexis too. I liked that whenever they got back to the house. She was like, look, I know you're a teenager and I know you have extra crazy tendencies because of who your parents are, but I'm not trying to ruin your life, just keep you safe. You can't do things like this.
Yep. And then kind of mixed in all of it was Valentine and Carly. And I guess
Yes.
she came up with some kind of a cover story for Joss's absence. And he gets a call about Anna. Oh, because wait,
Mhm.
so go way, 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 but back to the beginning of the week. Emma was making Gio her first home cooked meal and asked Felicia for her almond cake recipe, but she just made it instead of giving her the recipe. And then we find out that Emma, that British flag coffee mug that Anna always uses, Emma made that for her when she was 10 and she broke it. She was going to make Felicia a cup of tea and broke it. And then, they had a really good conversation. And then Emma tells Felicia that she is relearning guitar. So they fixed it.
I'm glad they fixed it. Yes.
Thank you. But then Gio came over. So wait, who was it? It was, Laura went to meet with Mac and Dante. Said that she didn't have good news about Anna. Kevin had checked in on her, couldn't see her, but they spoke to the doctors. She had escaped again.
Yep.
She was successful. She made it over the exterior walls, flagged down a driver, hijacked a car, almost made it to the border in a high-speed chase, and the French authorities decided that the current facility isn't enough and she'll be transferred to a facility with long-term mental illness patients and people that are a danger to themselves or others.
Mm-hmm.
And Robin and Patrick are on their way to
Yes.
France to make arrangements. And Kevin can't pull any strings to get her into a better facility. Emma's heartbroken, absolutely heartbroken. And Laura's like, you know what? She needs a strong advocate. And I think I know who to call. I thought she was going to call Robert.
That's what I thought too.
And I
Yep.
started crying. And then Valentine gets a call. And yeah, it makes sense that it would be Valentine.
Yep.
Oh, no. It wasn't Valentine. He got a
No.
call from his connections. It could have been Robert. It could have been. We don't know who Laura called.
Well, she ended up, that's how she got back to Willow. So I thought she was saying the important person was Willow.
Yes. Okay. Dang it. Okay, yes. Sorry. My
Yeah.
first thought was Robert, and then I was like, no, it was Valentine. No. He got the call from his connections over there that are kind of keeping an eye on her. And he's in tears and tells Carly all about the escape, says that Cullum has succeeded in breaking her and that he's going to go to France and break her out. And Carly's surprised that he wants to fly all the way to France to save Anna, when she flew how far to where to disguise herself as an attorney to save her daughter.
Right.
And Valentine's like, you would do the same thing for Jason. And he's like, yeah. Or she says, yeah, I would. The difference is I'm not in love with Jason. You're in
Yep.
love with Anna.
Yep.
Oh, and we found out because she's like, I've never seen that side of you before. You're being reckless. And you're not a psychiatrist. You wouldn't know how to help her. And he's like, I am trained in operational psychology and tactical behavior assessment. Is there anything this man can't do? I don't know. But then he wants to bring her back to Port Charles. And she's like, what? So I can lock a crazy woman in my attic and she can burn down the house? I've read that book. She's referencing Jane Eyre. So, yeah, I thought that was all great. And then Danny and Charlotte show up and say everything that happened in Wyndemere and overhearing about how, Britt's being essentially held captive, hostage, and all this. And Valentine and Carly both feel bad for her.
Right. That was nice that they both were like, okay, so we knew there was a missing piece, but we didn't know what it was. So thanks for that information.
Yep. And so Valentine says that he's going to shut down the project. But then we did see Laura go to Willow and ask for, first she went to Alexis to find out how to approach Willow. And because they've only talked a few times, which we talk about this all the time, that we know that not everyone knows each other, but it's weird to be like, oh yeah, that's right. They really haven't talked.
I just thought it was weird the way that they presented it because, whenever she was like, I know someone higher up I need to go talk to, my initial thought was, is she talking about Robert? Who else is higher up? Like, she needs someone big to get this favor done. And then she just turns to her local congresswoman. Like, I'm sorry. I don't think that Willow has that pull to be able to call internationally and be like, hey,
right.
can you take care of one of my townspeople? Like, what?
Right. And Alexis suggested appealing to her as a mom. However, if it's going to benefit Michael in any way,
right,
you might as well just not even bother.
Right.
And she said that people tend to underestimate Willow.
Mm-hmm.
So I like her little, if you're going to, you could wind up getting backstabbed here. So just proceed with caution.
Right. But Willow was super helpful. We got that, good side of the villain for a minute where she was like, why would I not help you? You helped rescue me. And so did Anna.
Yes.
Yeah. So I absolutely will do whatever I can. And then she made the phone calls and she came back with great news that they were going to let her stay at the facility that she was originally at. But the only thing was that they would not release her until she was better. Like, don't think that I can get her moved here tomorrow. But they were also able to drop the charges.
Yep. I don't think so.
Right? Like, if so, I've been underusing our local Congress people because I have lots of things I'd like to call and just call them up, ask them for a favor. Done. Thanks.
Yep.
Crazy. Oh, but we saw Joss discover the message from Anna this week. That was good.
You're telling me that they've never changed those sheets?
I guess not. I mean, it is a bunch of men.
That's true.
Right?
That's gross. They're going to get a 1 star.
The rack of clothes that were there looked like they were the same ones as had been left for Anna. It wasn't like they bought any new stuff.
Joss was proud of herself that she injured. So her and Cassius have this whole talk about, he's like, why are you working with the WSB? And she was like, oh, it was this or a podcast. And it's like, no, Joss, you were in school to become a doctor.
Right.
You have other options and skills.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, so why'd you get into your family business? And he said the same thing. It was this or a podcast. And she's like, oh, maybe when we get out, we'll do one together. And then she tells him about how she killed Cyrus.
Mm-hmm.
And that she learned a lot about herself by shooting someone.
Yeah, she didn't think she could do it till she actually did it. Well, that's probably
she was good at putting the pieces together. No, you weren't. Brennan secretly fed you every single thing.
Yep.
You followed breadcrumbs. You did not figure it out on your own.
Nope.
And no other profession would have given her purpose. That was the thing. And I'm like, right, because being a doctor, you can have purpose doing many professions. But being a doctor, I think it does give some purpose. Yeah. And so then she also found, so after she was hiding from him when he brought her breakfast, and then she wound up knocking him over the head with the chair, shows him the writings. And she's like, oh, you did this to freak me out. He's like, I had no idea those were even there. But I did know that Anna stayed here. And she doesn't believe that he had nothing to do with Anna. But then he's saying about basically like, you're not a very perceptive agent. And she's like, well, Faison, cigarellos, and book didn't scare me. And he's like, I could totally scare you if you wanted to. And if I wanted you dead, you would be. Like, Cullen would know that you're here, And then she also found tools in the bed.
Yes.
So yeah, their housekeeping needs some work.
Right, that mattress looks like it's like 2 inches thick and you didn't see the writing on the wall or these tools hidden.
And she didn't feel them.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Has she been sleeping
She's
on the
not as,
couch?
I guess she's not as big of a princess as we thought she was. She couldn't feel that pee.
Right,
Is that still a story kids know? Princess and the Pea?
I think so. My
Okay.
kids know it. I don't know,
Yeah.
but my kids, I mean, my youngest is still old now, so
I know, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh. But then yeah, it's I don't know. So what is she gonna do now?
I don't know. Like she keeps talking to him like they're going to become buddy buddies, and one day he's just going to suddenly be like, you know what? Okay, I'll let you go. But he
Right.
even said, you don't want me to let you go. As soon as Colin realizes who you are, you're dead. So you should actually just sit here and be happy that I have you safe. I'm not trying to kill you.
Right.
Was there anything else?
Sonny told Rick, oh, Molly, okay, Sonny told
Oh,
Rick that
yes.
Sidwell was making moves, and that his end game is getting closer. Laura went and told Sonny that Rocco's leaving, and then Cullum approached Willow looking
Mm-hmm.
for Rocco. She doesn't
Right.
work there. She wasn't even dressed like a nurse.
Nope. And Liz
Oh,
is
and
like, what
Laura
do you
called
want?
Lulu, and that's when the whole
Oh,
thing with
yeah.
and then Laura's like, "Oh, Ethan, I heard you were back. I just hadn't seen you yet. You know, you need to take care of your sister." And he said, "You have my word." I started crying the second that he said that, and I'm like, "That's what Luke would have said." And then Laura's like, "That's what Luke would have said."
Yeah, she said that's exactly how Luke would have said it. And I was like, oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, she told Lulu, I understand. Do what you have to do. I can't tell you not to do something.
but you can.
But she could. I agree. And then we did have a snippet of Molly and Christina at the hospital. She was getting her final check after having her surgery done. And they were just talking about how great she felt and that she shouldn't have worried about it so much and how wonderful it was that she had Christina or Cody with her every time that she needed to go to the doctor and that Cody was so understanding. And they just like joked about, yeah, even though he's great, you can only talk about your pain and your girly time and all that stuff so much with some guy before he's like, yeah, okay, don't want to hear
Right,
this anymore.
right. But yeah,
So
I think that's really it. It was a really long week.
it was. But I'm glad that we like rehashed it, not just because that's what we do, but because I forgot about the parts that I was like, oh yeah, that was actually exciting. I was happy for that to happen because some of the other stuff, this accident stuff, I'm sorry, they just need to be done with it. It is
Yeah,
like an umbrella over all the other stuff that I actually am interested in, and then I like can't get to it because I'm like, oh, in order to hear that good stuff, I have to listen incessantly about how so and so drove away even though they didn't, and how they're horrible people.
yep.
So I'm ready to
You
move
know,
on.
Portia just has to go into labor at this point.
Right? Let's just change it. Just change it. Or
Is that what's going to be happen? Portia's going to go into labor and Isaiah can't deliver the baby because his hand.
oh gosh, I don't even want to think about it. But yeah, that's a good twist that would have there.
It'd be done.
Yeah. But no, I don't want that either because then something will be wrong with the baby
I
that
know.
it
I was just
wasn't
thinking about
delivered
that.
on time or whatever.
Yeah.
And number one, obviously, I don't want a baby that has something wrong with it. But number two, then it would just be another thing for Portia to blame Curtis for the rest of their lives. Like either the baby has to die, which I'm tired of them killing babies, or something has to be wrong with the baby that now every day forever we're going to have to hear about how it's all Curtis's fault that the baby has whatever brain injury they have or whatever from not being delivered on time or properly because Isaiah's hand was hurt.
Right.
So no, I say no because I can't listen to it any longer.
Nope. 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 Nope.
Reality check.
So how was your week?
My week was amazing because Matthew finally proposed to Jolie.
Yay! What day? What day?
I think it was Thursday, so I haven't actually talked to them. Is that your
So
anniversary
on
day?
my anniversary, your son proposed.
I'm pretty sure. So they went away this week up to Maine. Said before they love to go hiking and seeing all the beautiful outdoor sights and whatever. So they went up to Maine to go to the state park and explore all of its beautifulness. And
One of the many. There are a
yes.
million. Yes.
Yes. So he had told me that he was probably going to do it this week, but he wasn't sure. And I was trying not to pressure, even though I really wanted him to do it. So it was funny. Come Thursday, like during the day, I had said to Ryan, like, dude, your son is taking, a page from your book. Like, let's not have this be 25 years later. Give the girl the ring. Ask her. Come on. And Ryan was like, it's a big deal. You have to make sure it's set up right. And maybe he's nervous. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, there's no doubt that she's going to say yes. There's no reason to be nervous other than the actual act of it. Just propose. Like, come on. So I understand that he would be nervous or whatever, but I hadn't heard from them all week other than pictures. She was super sweet. I don't know where exactly they were, but somewhere they had an adult size rocking horse. And so she sent me a picture of him riding this rocking horse. It was
That is so cute.
And just like other ones, with the beautiful background and stuff, or cute ones of them together or whatever. And so I had sent those texts like, oh, it looks great, or oh, that's so funny, or glad you guys are having a great time, or whatever. But I hadn't heard anything real from them. And so we went to bed Thursday, and as far as I knew, he still hadn't done it, and I was griping about it. And then I got up Friday morning for work, and I have to get up at like 5, and I had a text message at like 4:30 from him in the morning, 4:30, saying, with just her putting it with her hand up, and you could see the ring and whatever with the beautiful background. And so then I couldn't tell anybody because he hadn't told anybody because it was 5 o'clock in the morning. And so I left for work, and all morning I'm like, oh my God, they need to tell everyone because I can't say anything. I'm not going to steal their moment, but I need to be able to talk about this. And so it was like 7:30 in the morning or so that he sent a text to the whole group chat and was like, guys, she said no. And then he was like, just kidding, and sent the picture of her with the ring. And so
that
then
is not nice, dude. That is not nice. There are certain jokes.
And then of course all the girls, commented, oh my gosh, congratulations, finally, blah blah blah, and that stuff. So yeah, they I guess they hung out there for the morning of yesterday and then drove home through the afternoon, evening, through the night or whatever, because they got home this morning according to Life 360. And so I have not actually got to hear like the whole story and how it happened and what he said and what she said and all that stuff yet. But she did put pictures up on Facebook. And so then I was like, okay, now I'm allowed to tell the world because she put it out there and it's not me stealing their moment. So yay, I'm so excited.
Congrats.
Thank you. It got to me like yesterday on the way into work. I was like getting teary-eyed here and there. I was like, what is wrong with me? I'm so happy, but at the same time cannot believe that my kid is this old and like what the rest of life is going to have for them. I'm just so happy. She's an amazing, kind, loving, wonderful person. So I couldn't have picked anybody better for him.
Aw.
And I think he's kind of
almost
awesome.
didn't propose.
Why?
Because there was a tour bus in front of us and he got around it. But he's like, we probably would have gone back to the spot later if he hadn't been able to do it that morning. But he's like, no. He's like, if that tour bus had been up there, he's like, I would not have done it.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad the tour bus moved for you.
It's just like a guy thing.
Like I don't know. Yeah, I can't wait to hear like were there people around? Were there not people around? Like
right.
I don't know. I just kept saying I wanted to text him. I didn't, but I wanted to text him and be like, just be careful where you do it because you see all those videos of people like doing it up on a bridge and then dropping it or whatever. And I was like, don't do it on some like magnificent cliff and then drop the ring.
No.
And, oh no.
No. So I'm pretty sure the insurance would not cover that.
Right. But I'm guessing that it all went well because the pictures that I saw, she has it on her hand and yay. So I can't wait for all the extra details, but it totally made my week. The rest of the week was just normal stuff. Madeline's excited. She's away this weekend with her friend at her friend's camp and it has a golf cart. So she gets to drive the golf cart and all that stuff. So I'm happy for all that. It's been like a relatively good week, but that was the icing on my cake as he finally did it.
Nice.
So you did not have, well, I don't know how the rest of your week was, but your last night was not good. So
no. So Thursday was our 15-year anniversary, and I made the mistake of being honest about things on Facebook and, pointing out like the good, the bad, the ugly. Well, not all, but, and I put in there 1 surgery, 1 ER visit, and then JD decided 1 ER visit was not enough. And so we needed to have our second last night, and he was on his way. This weekend, we were supposed to be just doing like a massive house project, and a friend of his has a jackhammer that or something along those lines that he was going to go get. And he was only gone for about 10 minutes before he called me. He's like, you have to come get me. He's like, I am dizzy. Everything is spinning. That's not him. Like he doesn't. Right. So I'm like, okay. and it was raining too. So he had made it to a gas station, and when I got there, he was he was by one of the pumps, and I honked a little bit. Like I pulled up beside him and honked a little bit, and he was just like kind of slouched over, and so that was great,
Yeah.
to pull up to. And so like I got out and like knocked on the window, and he kind of just like, ugh. And so I had to figure out like maneuvering my car so that I could get him to it because I'm five
Mhm.
six, he's 6'4", and dead weight of any size is
Right.
difficult, let alone in the rain. And he had been getting sick, so also trying to
Yeah.
not make the mess. And so I got him in my car, and then I had to like run in the gas station. And I was like, listen, I'm gonna go move the truck because he's like, go tell them. And I was like, well, I'm not leaving the truck at the pump. I'm like, but I'll
Right.
go tell them. So like, I ran in, I grabbed him a ginger ale, and I told the guy, I was like, I'm gonna go move the truck. I said, but here's the deal. I was like, my husband just called me, he's getting sick. I was like, I have to take him over to the hospital because I was like, what do you want to do? He's like, I have to go to the hospital. I was like, okay, we'll go to the hospital, which is thankfully the next red light through.
Right.
So he was going to be passing it on his way to our friend's house. So, but like the fact that he couldn't even make it through the next red light to get there.
Yeah.
So I moved the truck, and my son and I have to go get it. We got there probably like around 8:30. As soon as I got there, the woman behind the desk was like, oh, he needs to be seen. I was like, mm-hmm, sure does. And so they got some saline in him, did a CT scan, did a chest x-ray, gave him all kinds of anti-nausea medicine. Still not 100% certain exactly what it is. They said that it's probably just severe vertigo because his eyes were like shaking. And nothing came back from the CT scan, but no one was having a sense of humor about it last night. So like, and I have been to this ER before, and it's where I took my aunt when she tore her ACL. We had a great time with the staff, like we're just like joking around, whatever. So when the guy comes in to do the chest x-ray, I was like, good news, there's no chance that he's pregnant. And the guy was like, oh, that's good to know. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
like,
Try and make this as
I'm
lighthearted of a
trying to,
situation. Yeah.
yeah. And then when I joked about, oh, I hope nothing shows up on the CT scan, I'm like, come on. And
Right.
then the nurse was like saying something about something about like nothing neurological or something like something. I was like, well, I don't want that in writing. I was like, my gosh. I was like, can somebody please just joke with me? Like
Mhm.
you guys, you got to pick up on this. Like you can tell that I'm just joking around, right?
Right.
And then I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, just so you know, I was just kidding. She's like, oh no, I know. I'm like, you're not good at this.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was late. Still, that's their shift. Like, come on, you guys got to have some kind of sense of humor at some point, especially when I hear them all joking in the back. It is not like TV. They are not just all business 24/7. I'm hearing all about their schedules.
Right.
I know one of the women, her and her husband work opposite shifts, and when they actually sleep together and he snores, like she just doesn't sleep at all.
Mm.
But I can't get a laugh on my husband's not pregnant,
Right.
but whatever. So tried to discharge us a little after 12, and then he could not sit up, and so they laid him back down, gave him more saline and stuff, and we got home probably around like 3:30, and then he woke up around 10ish, and he seems to be doing better, but he's going to be sleeping most of the day. So thankfully we have a really crappy weather weekend, so hopefully it's supposed to be storming and raining and flash flood warnings right now, but it's not, because he is not someone that is very easily he needs to be doing something.
Right. You should ask for some sedatives. Like,
Well, that's the thing
can
is
I
I'm
have
like,
a syringe with some?
like he can't drive until he has his follow-up appointment, which because of the holiday weekend is now can't be until Tuesday.
Right. Right.
So yeah, but I mean he's okay. He's downstairs. The kids are home. So and thankfully it's a holiday weekend, so there's not really a lot going on.
Right.
So, but yeah, was not expecting that. I'm tired, but I mean
Yeah.
it's
You need a nap.
I do. Well, and then of course I get a offer on a property that's been on the market for a few weeks, and so I have to go run over to my seller's house real quick after we're done here and go over that. Although she was super sweet. I mean, I emailed her at like 12:15, and I was like, listen, I know we were talking about getting together this morning. I was like, I'm gonna shoot you a text when I wake up because
Yeah.
I didn't give her like the full rundown, but I was like,
Right.
he's okay, but like we're in the ER, so I'm gonna need a nap.
Right.
But yeah, as soon as I get done at her house, I am definitely gonna hopefully take a nap. So it's gonna be an interesting weekend.
I will be praying for you because I know
Thank you.
he does not do sitting around well. So
He does not. He does not. Hopefully, this is gonna sound horrible, but like I hope he doesn't feel good enough. I hope he feels bad enough so that he rests. Do you know what I mean though? Like I need him. I need him to not be feeling good and thinking he can do things because he will.
Right.
And he needs to not be doing that. The doctor told him that.
Mm-hmm.
So
good luck to you.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I think he'll do okay, but here's hoping. But yeah, join us on Thursday as we talk about Nina and Willow.
That's going to be interesting.
It is.
Have a good week.
And we'll meet at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.